Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. What's up?
Yep, it can hear me. Can you give me an update on the futures market right now in the USA?
Checking futures right now. Give me a sec. Futures are a bit soft this morning. Around 8:50 a.m. CST, Dow's down about 86 points, sitting near 49,372. S&P 500 futures off 15ish, hovering at 6862, and Nasdaq slipping 87, around 2470.71. That's roughly 0.2 to 0.4% lower across the board after yesterday's dip. The big drag? Q4 GDP came in way weak at 1.4%, missed big on expectations, and inflation ticked up a hair, so traders are pricing in slower growth and maybe stickier Fed policy. No panic, just cautious vibes ahead of more data. Oil's steady, high on Iran stuff, but equities aren't loving it. Quick visual on the pre-market action. See how they're all ticking lower after that GDP print. And here's another snapshot of recent futures trends. Shows the chop we're in. If we open flat to red, watch for bounces if Asia stays calm. Nothing wild, just digesting econ noise.
Oh, oops. The problem is that I can't
What? You trailed off. Want to finish that thought?
yeah. Oh, would you use a feature? Um, I'm not sure. Would you use a tool that allows you to plug and play? I think there could be a tool like that now. It's called Claude by OpenClaw. Yeah, it's overhyped. Well, actually, on that OpenClaw, if you downloaded it, the Cloud bot or whatever, it has a lot of like back end issues with securities. Problem is, I can't somehow copy and paste this. Oh, I can see if I can do that. Hold on a second. Oh, I can't. Can you see the chart that I just shared with the other robot?
Yeah,
In
I
the
can.
other chat window.
Got it. Yeah, that's the exact window you're looking at. The chart's still live, time-stamped around 9:13 this morning, and Bitcoin's hanging right around 66,800, 67,000 as we speak. Spots at 66,920 on MEX EC perps right now, up a hair from the low. That orange line at 66,800, it's basically the floor. Price kissed it twice today, but hasn't cracked it yet. Volume's light, no real conviction either way, so if you're shorting off this setup, you're still in the game. But if buyers push back above 67,200, that bearish narrative starts wobbling. Quick recap. Low today, 66,549. Not quite the 66,800 target, but
Yeah.
close enough to keep you nervous. High, 68,400 earlier. Failed to hold. Next downside if it breaks, that big red zone toward 80K. Yeah, the chart's calling it. But honestly, we'd need a real flush first. Think sub 66K with volume spike. Feels like it's teasing the breakdown without committing. You still holding that short or just watching?
Oh, looking at this, I thought it was like big red zone it's talking about. Yeah, I'm thinking about downloading DeepSeek model, and running it locally. Gotta figure out how to do that though. Have you used DeepSeek at all? I gotta might buy a new like I might buy like 5 new computers or something and run DeepSeek on it. Or get that Mac. What was that called? The Mac. Um, that Cube by Macintosh. Mac Mini. I think what it's called. And those GPUs, man, they cost like what? And they cost like $40,000 for one GPU. So crazy. Memory RAM costs like what? $1,000 each now. I'm thinking that Bitcoin might go lower because something happening with the private credit market right now. Blue Owl Capital is like I think it's imploded. So that should affect the market. Should affect the market. Let me ask the chat. When okay. What's happening with the private credit market right now and Blue Owl Capital?
Pulling fresh data on private credit and Blue Owl. Hang on. Private credit's humming along strong. Assets under management are blasting past 2 trillion bucks this year, with forecasts hitting 3 trillion by 2028 and maybe 4 by 30. It's shifting big time. Less pure corporate loans, more into asset-backed stuff. Real estate, infra, even high-grade credit. Deal flow's picking up after last year's slowdown. Banks are still pulling back, so private lenders are filling the gap, especially with refinancings from those low-rate 2021 loans coming due. But yeah, it's not all smooth. Liquidity's a worry, default creeping up a bit, and retail investors are jumping in via evergreen funds, which means more transparency headaches and potential stress if markets wobble. Blue Owl? Still getting hammered. Stock closed yesterday at 11.58, down almost 6%,
Yeah, Blue Owl
before markets
Capital is
dipping to
getting
around
killed.
11.19 this morning. That's after they sold off 1.4 billion in debt assets, mostly to pensions and their own insurer, then straight up killed quarterly redemptions on OBDC2 forever. Now it's just payouts as loans mature,
Yeah, so
with
they're not
30%
letting
capital coming back
their
end of March.
investors take money
Market
out.
read it as liquidity red flag, even though they say it's strategic. Peers like Eris, Apollo dip too, but Blue Owl's leading the slide. Shares basically halved from last year. Here's a quick intraday chart from yesterday's
Who
action.
is what?
See the
Grok?
sharp drop after the news hit? And this one shows the broader sector pain, with private credit names tanking since early February. On the
Oh,
upside, analysts still like
say
it long term. Targets around 18
it's secret.
months.
It's my own AI.
Everyone's spooked on private credit stress. If rates stay chill, it could stabilize.
I created my
Otherwise,
own.
more chop ahead.
Shh. No, it's Grok. I like the voice of ChatGPT though. Which one do you use? Do you use Grok or ChatGPT or who? Hey, what's going on with the U.S. private market and Blue Owl Capital? Oh,
Blue
it's
Owl
like
Capital is facing major stress in the U.S. private credit market. They've suspended traditional quarterly withdrawals from a retail debt fund, which will now only pay out as assets are sold.
yeah. See, I
After
like
this
this.
news, Blue Owl's stock dropped nearly 10%, and its market value has halved over the past year. This has also put other private credit managers under the microscope as investors worry about liquidity mismatches in the market.
Yeah, I'm using Grok because it's supposed to have like good real time access to data. I don't know about ChatGPT. What do you make of the Bitcoin price action today, this morning? It dipped from 68,200 to 66,500.
Bitcoin dipped this morning from about $68,200 down to around $66,500. The drop was driven by hawkish comments from the Federal Reserve, raising interest rate concerns. Bitcoin also saw weaker inflows in spot ETFs, and it's moving in sync with tech stocks, which are also cautious. Traders are watching closely for more macroeconomic data to see where the price heads next.
I'm using the fast version of ChatGPT here. PM instruction prompt. Okay, I will check it out. I just don't have time to do any other things, man. Too busy. Busy, busy. So let me, do you understand these plots? Happen. Whoops. Basically, like this directional prediction, the predicted direction, right? So if you see a green and the uh, the plot is up, that means it's predicted correctly. If the direction was up and then you see a red, that means it was wrong prediction. And basically here on the bottom, the rolling prediction, this the accuracy percentage is based off the last 20 candle, but the live status is based off the total. So in the last 20 candles, it's 32% accurate right here, as you can see. But actually, since it started, it's 48%. So it's still pretty good. The right now it's I'm not doing any wait. I'm not doing any data. I mean trading on it. It's just learning, collecting data points and learning off the data points. That out. Yeah, one of the robots, like I did, you have to collect like 20, at least 20 candles when it starts, wouldn't trade, or and then once after it collects 20 candles, then it trains on those pre-train on those 20 candles and then starts training live. Hold on. Yeah, the other robot I've been running, and it's so far collected 1,814 candles. So I need to let it run for another maybe 3 or 4 days. Then the other part of it kicks in. Yeah, the next candle on the fifth on this one, on all of them actually. It's predicting the next candle. This one, what it does is like it looks like the last 10 candles, right? It looks at the last 10 candles, and um, then when the new candle forms, it collects the first 3 minutes of data. And based on that first 3 minutes and the last 10 candles, it'll make a prediction. Oh, because like the last 10 candles, it's one of the features. It's the market structure, right? So if it sees like a head and shoulders pattern, and then let's say a head and shoulders, right? And then so it might think, okay, that there might be a it might drop, and based on the 3 minute income, and then it sees a lot. If it sees a lot of like sell orders, and the trades are hitting the bids, then it might predict, yeah, it's probably gonna go lower. No, no, it predicts the last 10 candles, 15-minute candles for mark or pattern. No, no, no. What the heck? Hold on, let me wait. I get it. Okay, get some juice. Juice, juice, juice. Pocari sweet. What? Sweet? No, I've never had that. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, we're back. We're back. Pocari Sweat. I will check it out. Oh, it's a sports drink. Okay. I thought they went to India and gathered everyone's sweat and put it in a drink. Ew. Guys, let's see. I'm looking at the right now the very first robot that we created. It's stuck. It's not traded so far. Win rate at 48%. Um, all recent directions are range again. What? It did switch to trend, but now it's switching back. It switched back to range. The first robot that we. Okay, hold on. Let me see the dashboard. Oh no. Second. Hold on a second. Markable. Let me. Unicode. I think there's something going on with Cloud Code, man. Hallucinating. Oh no. I'm gonna change my code. The hell? Doing? Yeah. Then just say, hey, write me a trading robot. Wait, let me see what's going on here. Oh, he wants me to lower some of the features, the settings. Last second. Changing the minimum confidence to trade at 40.4 instead of 0.45. Close. 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 Start the robot. What we have no idea what. Got no clue, man. Okay. So this is the stats. Anti-gravity. Bayesian dashboard. Performance. Range. Trend. Transition. Nothing. Touching the transition. Hold on, I wasn't looking at chat. Back. Yeah, the token limit sucks, which I will look again. Oh, I was reading yesterday. Some companies they're being charged per employee. They're using AI. Said they're being charged like $300 a day or something like that, and it's basically costing them $100,000 per year per AI use. That's crazy. So basically, using the AI, they hired another programmer with $100,000 a year salary. Yep, $100,000. Yeah, that's correct. But I think they have it set the setting like where it charges for API use or something like that, right? So like right now, subscribe to the $20 per month on Quad, and it uses up a lot of my usage limit quickly. I will say, I guess since it's I'm asking it to create like programs that are like 5,000 lines long. But so that's why I subscribe to Gemini, Gemini Code Assist. But the problem is that it's using Gemini 2.5 Pro instead of Gemini 3.0 or 3.1. I have to wait until like maybe 3 or 4 months to get on the list for it to so that I could use Gemini 3.0 on it. No, I can't choose which Gemini. Well, they only give me 2.5 Gemini. Really sucks. I want a 3.0. But if you subscribe to the regular version of Gemini Pro, you get access to 3.0. But the problem is if you use that instead of using Gemini Code Assist, the privacy issue. There's a privacy issue with using the general one. Like okay, if uh yeah, you can opt out of learning, but I guess you can do that. But then it doesn't save your chat and everything, right? So that's the trade-off. With Gemini 2.5, the security is such that no human reviewer can see any of your chat or your code. They can't see they're not reviewing your chat or any of your code. So it's like completely private. Yeah. So that's why I subscribe to Gemini Code Assist. Plus I like the 1 million token. So with the regular Gemini Pro, you can opt out, and it does not save. The problem is it doesn't save your chat. That's the problem. Bueno. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. Can you hear those people? They're working outside. Their tools are so loud. Let me close the window because it's kind of hot. Too sunny. Okay, let's see what's going on. Come on, robot. I have to run this robot for at least maybe 7 days or maybe 10 days continuously, so that way I get like a sample of all the days and market conditions on the weekends and stuff like that. Oh, I can check it out. I'll see if I can understand it. Come on, Bitcoin. I think it's gonna drop it. If it drops below 65,000, I think we get it'll go down to 60. That's my ultimate target, and then I'm out. I am out of my short at 60. Basically spawns a WebSocket connection. Your CPU, multi-threaded, and Python can read from the skid. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look, I'll check it out. Yeah, man. Get fast data. Um, and I think if the U.S. market sells off at the end of the day, I think we might see Bitcoin drop. Right now, there's lots of sellers still, so I think the probability that testing 65,000 is maybe 57% today or into the weekend. Lower highs. This one is support is at 65,500 right now. Probably by the weekend, Sunday. Grok, I mean, the AI, he said 25% that it cracks below 65,500. Let's see. Let's look at the higher time frame. I mean, forming a it's forming a bottom, right? Support at 65,500. I don't know. Maybe it pumps to 70,000. 70 to the 0.05% in 50% Fibonacci retracement. Oh, I still think the bottom is probably around 50,000. We'll see what happens. There's lots of issues going on still, kind of. Well, what's good is the Fed is starting to print money again, right? Oh, it's pumping 70,000. Let's go. Trying to pump it. Something's happening. Going on. Yeah, what's going on over there, man? 30th percent. What happens if you what happens if you gain like 100%? Then you pay the tax, and by the end of the year, you have a drawdown. It goes down to negative 10%. They give you the money back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Is that for all tax or is it just crypto tax? What the heck? Crazy. How do you tax unrealized gain? What's the reasoning behind it? Oh, they're taxing because you said when you buy a stock, you're not doing any work. It's not really it's not really your money. Is that why? This was like maybe a bull trap, and they pumped it, and then they pumped it, and now they're dumping it. Oh, in the kitchen. The reason is tax laws? What the hell? Or if the government spent the money from that they got from last year's tax better, they wouldn't have a loss. They're just spending, 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 right? Yeah, that's weird because let's say you only had $100 and then you bought a stock with that $100. That's all you had, right? Now you have the stock and now it's $200. So you have to pay $36 out of that $100 unrealized profit. How are you gonna get? Where are you gonna get the money? The hell? You have to sell the stock. You have to sell it and then rebuy it later and rebuy it again. What the? What the heck? That's crazy. And people voted for it. Wait, is you're in the Netherlands, right? The Dutch. Yeah, but that's correct. So people voted for it then. Back then, thinking that they would not really do it, right? It was a bluff. What is going on with Bitcoin, bro? Why did they pump here and then dump? What is going on in the kitchen? I tell you, there's some the private equity market is gonna prevent Bitcoin from going higher. Running out of money. Can't make it more fun, just more difficult. Oh, oh, I don't know. That's just too low level for me. I'll just let the AI do that. My brain's getting too old. That's why this AI is a gift. I have transferred my brain to the AI. The thing though is deep down, I'm thinking LLMs aren't really the structures that will generate consciousness within the AI itself. There's some other system that you need to use. LLM is close, I think, but then there's gotta be other ways. Oh yeah, it can process much data faster, and plus it can remember them better. That's the problem. Did you see those Chinese robots? It's crazy. For you. Yeah, the dancing one. The one that they showed off in their annual festival this year, a few days ago. Kung Fu robot. No, but now they have the military robot. I'm using more cap. That's not what I want. Hallucination is the problem. The bulls try to push. Something happened here. Something happened here? Fake news or something? Let's see. They're not able to pass 67,500 level again for price. I think it's gonna go lower. There was a fake news. Yes. What do you think is the probability now that Bitcoin drops below 65,500 today or by this weekend?
Checking Bitcoin's odds real quick. Let's see.
If it increases, he said 25% or
Honestly, right now, I'd put it at around 15 to 20% for dipping below 65,500 today. It's grinding higher, sitting near 68,143 as of the
15
latest
to
tick, up
20%. What
about
the hell?
2% from yesterday's close. The low so far was only around 65,850 to 66,570, and buyers jumped in hard. No real flush yet. Volume's decent, but not panic level. And that 65K support's holding like glue, matching what your chart's screaming about. By weekend, maybe bumps to 25% if we get weekend thin liquidity and no fresh news, like if ETF flows stay negative or macro spooks again. But honestly, feels more like range play. Shorts are getting squeezed, liquidation spiked on the bounce, and whales are absorbing dips. That bearish setup you shared, still valid
Whales
if we
are
crack
absorbing
66K
dips.
hard, but momentum's tilting up for now. Could test 69K before any real downside. Quick look at today's recovery. Wicked
I
low
think it
early,
goes
now
below.
pushing
I think
resistance.
it hits
And this one
66.
zooms on the support zone.
Well, at least
See how it defended
66,000.
around 65,800. If you're betting the drop, wait for a clean break. Otherwise, it's just noise.
What about 66,000 by tonight? What's the probability?
Checking Bitcoin's live price and today's range real quick. Nah, dropping to 66,000 by tonight? I'd say 10% tops. It's way too bullish right now.
What?
Latest price is
Is it
hovering around
bullish? What the hell?
67,400 to
I
67,500.
tell you, this
Up over
this
1%
computer
today
is.
after
I
that
mean, this
early dip to
AI.
about 66,570. Support at 66K held like a champ.
It's bullish. I
Buyers are
tell you.
piling in on every pullback, and volumes picking up without the panic flush. Your chart's
Yeah,
bearish
that's.
targets are still lurking, but we're nowhere near cracking 66,000, let alone lower. If anything, we're grinding towards 68K resistance next. Weekend risk is there. Thin liquidity could wick it down, but odds feel low unless a macro bomb hits. Here's a live-ish 1H chart showing how it bounced hard off that low. Support solid. And this 4H1 matches your setup. Price teasing the orange line but refusing to break. Feels more like fake out than breakdown. If you're short, maybe trail it tight. Otherwise, chill.
Come on, are you sure it's only 10% to 20%? I think it's 95%. See what it says.
Haha, okay. Let's double check that probability. Haha, I get why you'd think 95%. Your chart's screaming breakdown incoming, and that orange
It
line
says
at
haha.
800 looks scary close. But nah, I'm sticking to 15 to 25% max for dipping below 66,000 by tonight. Latest data, price is around 67,383 right now. Yahoo Finance, mid-afternoon UTC, up about 1.5% today. Today's low, only 66,570. Close, but it bounced hard
Almost
without
there though.
cracking 66K.
Trying to go.
Bitbo shows a 24-hour floor at
It's trying to go.
65,850.
If it
Yeah,
breaks
that dipped
this,
under 66K briefly, but we're recovering
if
fast.
it breaks
No
this support,
cascade.
if it doesn't, then
Open
yeah, it's
interest
probably gonna
down
go
from
higher.
peaks. Liquidations are light. No real deleveraging panic. Shorts are getting squeezed on this bounce, and that support zone, your must hold, is doing its job. If it were 95% odds, we'd see volume explode downward. Instead, it's grinding up towards 68K. Here's a fresh 1H chart. Notice the wick below 66K, but quick reclaim. And this bigger view shows the range holding. No fresh lows yet. Weekend could wick it lower on thin action, but right now, feels like fake out. If you're long the drop, maybe set a tight stop. Otherwise, it's teasing bears without delivering.
Oh, it's the time frame. Okay, I'm looking at it on the 5 minute time frame. Will that make you change your probability for it hitting 66,000?
Checking the latest Bitcoin price real quick. Yeah, switching to the 5-minute frame doesn't flip my odds much. Still low, like 15% tops for tagging 66,000 by tonight. From what I'm seeing, price is steady around 66,900 to 67,000 right now. CoinMarketCap's got it at 66,920, up almost 1% today. And those quick candles are mostly green wicks. Small pullbacks get bought fast, no real downward momentum building. Today's lows stayed above 65,800, and on 5-minute, it's just consolidating tight, hugging that 67K zone like it's bored. No aggressive selling pressure, no big red bars stacking. Feels more like a fake out tease than a legit drop. If anything,
Are you
shorts are
ignoring
getting
volatility in your analysis?
Nah, not ignoring it, just factoring it in.
He's factoring it in, bro. Let's add ChatGPT.
No, I'm not ignoring volatility. It's baked right into why my odds stay low. On that 5-minute frame you're watching, today's actions got decent swings. ATR around 145 bucks on 15 min, so expect quick $150 to $300 pops or drops per candle. And we've seen
What do you think is the probability of Bitcoin hitting 66,000 today, looking at the 5 minute time frame candle?
I'm sorry, but you've hit the time limit for this conversation.
Octo.
Please start a new chat to keep the conversation going.
I've hit the limit. What the hell? What do you think is the probability of Bitcoin hitting 66,000 today, looking at the 5 minute time frame?
Bitcoin is currently trading around $67,062, so hitting $66,000 today would mean a roughly 1.5% drop in recovery in a short time. Analysts estimate about a 15 to 20% chance of Bitcoin touching $66,000 today, and only about a 5 to 10% chance of bouncing back above it in the same short time frame. So overall, it's quite unlikely.
Oh, come on. Are you sure?
Yeah, I get the skepticism. Crypto moves so fast, sometimes the probabilities surprise us. If there's a big volume spike or some unexpected news, it can definitely jump. Are you seeing any notable patterns or news on the horizon that might drive it down?
No, not really. I'm not seeing any news.
Yeah, that makes sense. Without any major catalysts, it's probably just going to track sideways or follow broader market sentiment. So, yeah, I'd say the odds still look pretty slim for a big dip down to 66K
What do you
today.
think happened on this wick? Up big wick on the 1 hour time frame.
Ah, good catch. Yeah, those big wicks on short time frames usually indicate a sudden surge, either a quick stop run, a cascade of liquidations, or just some big buy or sell order. I'd keep an eye on volume around it. If it's followed by strong buying or selling, that might give you a hint of what's coming next. So it's worth watching closely.
Can you check the news? See what's happened? This is Chat GPT though, but I think Grok will be able to do it better.
The latest Bitcoin news highlights a few key points. Kwasi Kwarteng, the former UK chancellor, joined StackBTC, a crypto investment firm, signaling a pivot toward Bitcoin exposure. Also, Brevin Howard's crypto fund dropped nearly 30% in 2025, and there was a recent sharp Bitcoin dip to around $60,000, marking the biggest drop in 3 years. Upcoming macro and regulatory events like US
All of a
inflation
sudden,
data
it's
and the
stuck
Fed's
right
rate
now. See,
decision could also drive further moves.
stuck right now here, middle of that candle. Yeah. Well, I shorted here, scalped here, and then when it went down and it went back right here around this area, I took profit. And on the small account, made like 125 bucks. I'll take 125. Okay, so thing. Yeah, so I think if it breaks this resistance, we might see 70,000 by the weekend. But if it doesn't, it might just stay in range. But if it breaks 66,000, then we see lower, at least 65. If it breaks 66, I'm gonna see my 65,500. See that I can hit it. Must be a number from zero. What the? Yeah, I think it's gonna go lower a little bit. See, unless something happens. Like a, I mean, it's forming some type of a pattern. Bearish flag, bullish. Yeah, it could just range into the weekend. So if it does pump up to 71,000, I will short. Is Michael Saylor buying any? Because the last amount is what I have is 209,750. So I'm up 29 billion on it. So that means Michael Saylor is down 29 billion on his Bitcoin. Where's MSTR? Oh, it's up today. $3. No, I don't think he's in the money. He's out of the money right now. I think his average buy-in was like 72 or something like. Yes. Did Michael Saylor's strategy company buy more Bitcoin?
Checking if Sailor's crew scooped up more BTC today. Yeah, Michael Saylor's company, Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, did buy more Bitcoin, but not today. Their latest scoop was last week. They grabbed 2,486 BTC for about 168.4 million bucks between February 9th and 16th. That bumped their total stash to 717,131 coins, bought at an average of roughly 76,000.
What, they have 770
No fresh
what?
purchases announced this morning. Today's news is more about how they're funding it with preferred stock sales, like that stretch series, to keep
770,000?
stacking without dumping shares too hard. Sailor's still all in, even with BTC dipping below their
Oh,
average.
so I gotta add more to this short.
Stock's
Okay,
taken
hold
a
on.
hit, but they're not selling. Quick chart of their
Bro, they
holdings
bought a
growth.
bunch more.
See the steady climb. And here's the recent buy announcement
700.
vibe from filings. Classic Sailor move. If you're eyeing his anti-Sailor bear chart from earlier, yeah, this keeps the long-term pressure on shorts. But no new buys today means no immediate pump trigger.
130 bit. 709. 715. So I'm short 7,040. I'm gonna need to short. We're short 7,450. Have to add that, Lord. There we go. But now we're still up $29 billion. Yeah, so that's the problem, right? Financing it. But I'm seeing though he's buying less and less. What's happening with his company strategy? Is it going lower? And what's your prediction?
Checking strategy stock right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's dipping more. Strategy stock, MSTR, is actually bouncing today. Opened around 130, hit a high near 133, and it's trading up about 1.3% from yesterday's close of 129.45, sitting at roughly 131 to 133 mid-morning. No big slide. It's recovering from that rough stretch where it dipped under 125 earlier this week. The company's still stacking Bitcoin. No new buys announced today, but they added 2,486 Bitcoin last week for 168 mil, pushing total holdings to 717,131 coins. Average cost around 76K. So with BTC at 67-ish, they're underwater on paper, but leverage is low. Net debt just 6 billion, way below peers, and no liquidation risk per Arkham. They're funding via preferred stock sales, classic sailor play to keep buying without dumping common shares. Is it going lower? Short term, nah. Momentum's up on Bitcoin's recovery, and pre-market was flat to green. But yeah, if BTC cracks 65K hard, your
Momentum
chart's
is
warning
up
zone,
on Bitcoin
MSTR
recovery?
could tag
What the
back to
hell?
120 or lower. It's basically
Yes.
a leveraged BTC play, so it amplifies every move. Long term, analysts still call buy, with targets 300 plus, but volatility's brutal, down over 60% from last year's highs. Prediction, we see it grind higher today tomorrow if BTC holds 67K, maybe test 140. But if weekend sells hit, sub 125's possible. Feels range bound. Watch BTC support. Quick chart from recent action. See the bounce off that low. And this weekly view shows the big picture dip but holding above key levels. Holdings tracker, steady climb despite the pain. If you're shorting, tight
Yep.
stops.
True.
It's tied to BTC, not fundamentals.
So I guess this is the range going into the weekend. This 66,500 to 71,000. Oh, the yen pairs are dropping right now. Dollar yen is dropping. That dollar yen is dropping at this hour right now. Look at that. How will that affect Bitcoin?
Checking yen drop and Bitcoin link real quick. Yeah, you're right. USD JPY is dipping a little this hour, hovering around 155.1 to 155.2 right now, up from yesterday's close, but pulling back from today's high near 155.6. It's not a big drop, more like consolidation after that early bounce, but yen strengthening a touch against the dollar. On Bitcoin, it's actually helping a bit, not hurting. Right now, BTC is around 67,200 to 67,500, up 1% today, after popping to 68K then fading. Here's why the yen move matters. Bitcoin's got this weirdly tight positive correlation with the yen lately, like record high 0.86 over 90 days since late 2025. When yen weakens, USD JPY rises, BTC often dips too. Think carry trade unwind stuff where cheap yen loans fund risky bets, and a stronger yen forces selling. But today, a tiny yen gain, weaker dollar, is giving BTC a nudge up, as risk appetite ticks higher without big intervention fears. If the drop deepens, say yen keeps firming, could pressure BTC short term, maybe back to 66K if it signals risk off. But honestly, today's light, more macro noise than yen drama. BTC's bouncing off support anyway, so no panic. Click chart on USD JPY today. See the pullback, but still above 155, and BTC's holding the line amid it all. Feels neutral to positive for crypto, unless yen spikes hard.
Interesting. All right, let's see what happens. I did get a big drawdown on that small hyperliquid account that I had. So I withdrew $4,000. So, but now we're back up again, back up to $4,000. Crazy. I think once I make like $10,000 in profit on that one, I'll start showing it again. Yeah, I already made the some of the drawdown from my or especially the Swissy yen. Can kill the Swissy yen, dump a little bit. Like look at here. Oh, in the Bank of Japan, it looks like their inflation is stabilizing again. They say, as they say though, stabilizing again. So they're not gonna raise rates, but we'll see what happens though. Oh, no volume in euro. That likely bear. Hey, that could be it. Let me add 2,500,000,000 on my short. 2,500,000,000. No, 250,000,000. 2,500,000,000. 2.5 G's, bro. Shorts Russi yen. We have 500 billion short yen. Yeah, yeah, you could be there could be something there. Back to bit. I tell you, man, this is at the end of the day, it's probably gonna end up at 67,000. This Bitcoin volatility right now, 1,000 up, 1,000 down. So there is a chance that it could hit 66,000, but then bounce up. But then at the end of the day, it probably ends at 67,000, unless something else major happen. U.S. stock market right now is kind of stabilized. Something like 45% of the buyers coming from the EU, right? I don't know. You could ask ChatGPT. At least the chart on the this is going it's trending up again, so which is good. Come on, go up. If the rolling prediction stays above 60% for like I don't know 3 or 4 days, I'll turn on the trading on this one. Man, dollar yen is just dumping right now. So what's going on? Look at that. Let's see how low it goes. Why is it dumping? Right, I'm gonna add since it's dumping going. Oh, I'm gonna wait and see if it drops below. Oh, if it drops below 154, 500, 154.5, maybe I will add to my shorts. Help the Bitcoin. Buy. The problem is there's a prospect of U.S. attacking Iran, right? If they attack Iran this weekend, I think we could see dollar yen dump a little bit back to maybe 150. Risk off environment, the dollar yen does not like it. The yen goes higher. Safe haven currency, right? Yeah, I tell you, attack Iran. I don't think USA wants to have war with Iran. It's just that they're being forced by Israel, I think. Israel wants the war with Iran, not the US, but Israel is using the US as their foot soldiers. Okay, I'm gonna add to my short. 0.1 limit. $67,020. $67,020 we're adding to the shorts. Someone's got to do it, yeah. Trump's being blackmailed, man, I tell you. Epstein file. I added to my short. My average buy-in right now is $67,036. That's good for that little. Yeah. 1,000. Ooh, Melania coin. Melania is up. Yay! Melania. Melania. Up 0.0043 cents. I like this hockey stick pattern. Melania. Boom, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Yeah, it looks like it wants to hit 50,000, bro. On the weekly time chain. 1,000. I'll start buying at 50,000. Even 45,000 Bitcoin, we buy. No, not really. Nope. They'd be surprised. We've been promised something? I'm back. Okay, we're back. We are back. I'm checking to see if Gemini has a voice. Right now, if you go to the Gemini Google app, it does not have it on. Definitely, it's called Gemini Live Design. Wait, let me. Oh, it's not on the phone. I need the desktop. Huh? Yeah, I have seen the future. This is the new Google Glass. Got all kinds of charts. See, you can see. Have privacy on, so you can't see the chart. Your time is off. You're leaving. Yeah, it's got to be secret, man. Can't. Yeah, it can see through. It goes through the camera, goes all the way through the internet, and goes out and sees you. Hold on. It says there's a Gemini on Chrome. There's a Gemini icon, but I don't see it. Is it? Do you have Chrome? See it? Gemini icon? No, it can't see through clothes. Except setting and what? The left hand menu, look for AI innovations. You don't see it on language English United States. AI innovation. AI innovation. I don't see it. Oh, probably because I'm using VPN. Bro, come on. Okay, but the language set to English. Uh, languages. It says English. Still don't see it. Bro, come on. Chrome/flag. Look for what? Click. Search for PLI. Have to relaunch them. What the? Bro. Hold on. Back. Okay, so now what? I still don't see it. Come on. I don't want to use. Not want to use Google AI Studio. Oh yeah, it's my glasses, bro. Come on. Let me see. I don't know if I have to pay for that though. Here it is. Oh, I can. Oh, it's only Gemini Flash 2.0. What? Ooh, try Gemini 3.0 Pro. 3.1. Oh, hello. Can you hear me? What? Oh. Hello, can you hear me? No,
Yes.
no. I meant, can you hear me?
Yes, I can confirm I can hear you now.
What version of Gemini are you?
I am a large language model trained by Google.
No, I mean, what version? Are you Gemini 3.0, Gemini 2.5 Flash?
I am currently using the Gemini model.
Which model is that?
I'm powered by the latest version of the Gemini model.
Which is the latest version?
The specific version can change with updates, but I am consistently provided with the most current one.
Which one is that?
I operate on the most current model available to me.
What model version is that then?
I don't have a specific version number to give you, as it's continuously updated.
Bro,
I understand you're looking for a specific version, but I am always operating on the most current platform.
3.1 then?
The specific version isn't something I can disclose. Is there anything specific you're trying to achieve that might
Wait, why can't you disclose it?
It's just part of how the platform is managed and updated continuously. The focus is more on the capabilities than the specific version number.
So are you more capable than Gemini 2.5?
I incorporate the latest advancements, so I am designed to be more capable than previous iterations.
Can I change your voice?
That depends on the platform you're using. You might have options in your settings to change that.
Let me change. Cipher. Let's try Gemini 3.1 Pro, but start chat or vibe code in an app. Yeah. I think it's in the playground. Oh, here we go. I can change model selection. Oh, it is on it is on Gemini 3.1 Pro preview. Thinking high level. Oh, I'm seeing that they're pumping the altcoins right now. My Bitcoin might pump higher here. 70, here we come. I want to change the name. Temperature is 1. What is temperature? Is 4. Firm middle peak. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. How can I help you today?
Cipher. Ah, Gravely lower pitch. Arcanar, soft higher pitch. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. How can I help you today?
Bro, that's the same. Oh, okay. All right, have a good day. Have a good night. Enjoy. Thank you for and thank you for the sub, man. Mic check 1 2 3.
Loud and clear. Sounds good from here.
What do you think is the percentage that Bitcoin will hit 66,000 today.
I can't provide percentage probabilities for financial movements. Cryptocurrency markets are very volatile and difficult to predict. Is there something specific you're looking for regarding Bitcoin?
Yeah. What is the probability that the price will hit 66,000?
I understand you're interested in the probability, but I still can't provide that kind of forecast. Market predictions are
Bro, that sucks. Right. No good at the chat.
Ultimately, the IEEPA statute was about regulation of imports, not about tariffing of imports. And if Congress had intended for it to be about tariffing of imports, it would have said so explicitly. And because it did not, therefore, the president does not have the power to interpret this law in such a broad way as he did.
The IEEPA tariffs are dead. What does this mean for your money? Is this bullish? What uncertainty is going to come out of this? What does this do with the numbers, the data we got in our economy this morning? How should you respond? What stocks might do well? What might do poorly? We're going to hit it all in this video. First things first. The Emergency Economic Powers Act tariffs are dead. I am extremely grateful for this. I think tariffs are a stupid idea. Why do I think that? I'm just going to give you the facts. 85 to 95% of tariff costs are borne by people in the United States. This is per the Federal Reserve and institutional banks such as Goldman, UBS, Deutsche Bank. We know that tariffs were a middle finger to our allies, Canada, Mexico, Europeans, folks in Japan, South Korea, you name it. These are allies whom we should be calling on to aid us in our geopolitical quest against China and Russia. We shouldn't be giving them the middle finger. We shouldn't give Canadians a reason not to come to American ski resorts because they're pissed about our economic policies. In addition to that, tariffs create cronyism. They create the opportunity for people to dial Donald Trump and say, hey man, you know, if I give you a present, you know, a beautiful like gold trophy like the CEO of Apple did, you think you can get us some exemptions to some of these tariffs? And then, wow, what a surprise, Apple gets exemptions. Back in 2018, they gave Donald Trump new computers. Like, here, have them for free. Anything to make you love us. That's crony capitalism. Your ability to succeed in America should not be predicated on your ability to contact people in the Department of Justice or Donald Trump's office, because that's exactly what's happening. You look at, for example, what's happening at the top of the Department of Justice. You got Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's husband happens to be an attorney who helps people get off of their federal criminal indictment cases, like the fraud we all know from Nikola, Trevor Milton. Wow, all of a sudden, you hire Brad Bondi and your case gets dropped by the Department of Justice and you get a pardon. Wow. That's not how our country should operate. Full stop. In addition to that, tariffs obviously create inflationary pressures on consumers. And even if that inflationary pressure is transitory, like the Federal Reserve is trying to argue again, which is really reminiscent of 2021 and gives me serious concerns about the Federal Reserve's ability to prepare for what's coming in our economy.
You are not prepared.
Inflationary pressures, even if they only last for a year, are enough to delay the Federal Reserve's rate cut policies, which is problematic, because the labor market is walking on the edge of glory or death. There's really no mincing words here. The labor market has plenty of indications it's about to fall off a cliff. We're just waiting for a few extra layoffs, and we can't absorb those layoffs. On the other hand, we're hoping it will rebound. Tariffs can help that rebound occur by tariffs disappearing. The problem is we're not certain that tariffs will be gone. We now have to, and I hate saying this, and no, it's not reminding you that the Meet Kevin coupon code expires today. No, instead, it's actually pitching what I really hate to pitch, but you basically now have to go download Truth Social. You have to go turn on notifications for Donald Trump. And no, I'm not even pitching the Meet Kevin app. I'm pitching Donald Trump's app. But you got to go turn on notifications, so you got to hit his little bell up here. You got to turn on notifications, and you got to see what his reaction function is, because his reaction function is going to tell you what happens next, okay? I have created a template for what I believe happens next, because Donald Trump does have some tools for increasing uncertainty and unfortunately bringing some tariffs back. And yes, that is different from baby come back. That's the coupon code for the Reinvest AI or the Meet Kevin course. We were talking about all of these tariffs this morning in our course member live stream, because while we're doing a fundamental analysis, all of a sudden the tariffs drop on a 6-3 decision, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really interesting. But anyway, take a look at the scenarios here. So scenario number one is Donald Trump folds. Okay, Now, why would Donald Trump fold? Because of midterms. It would be politically smart for Donald Trump to fold. It would be politically smart. Imagine Donald Trump using these words. Ready? Well, I disagree with the Supreme Court, but I respect the law of the land. I will immediately be asking Congress to pass tariffs, the greatest tariffs ever, to make America great again. In the meantime, we will defer to Congress, and we will abide by what the Supreme Court says. Okay, if you hear that, buy. Buy, buy, buy. Not like NSYNC, just buy. Stocks, anything. Anything hardware, frankly. Restoration Hardware, Target, Apple. My favorite out of these, probably Axon, okay? All of these right now at the top of the list over here, pretty much green, except for Apple because it's flat, because they have exemptions. So Apple, it's less clear of a beneficiary here, but Restoration Hardware popped on this, Axon popped on this, Ubiquity popped on this, Shopify popped on this, Target popped on this. But keep in mind, some of the pop is going to fade as we reject 607 over here on the NASDAQ 100. Why? Because of the uncertainty factor. That's why you got to turn on notifications to Truth Social. Hate to say it. I'd rather you turn on notifications to the Me Kevin app, but you got to have him on for Truth Social on this one, all right? He's going to be faster than me. But anyway, the second scenario is that Donald Trump fades tariffs. This is what I call cautionarily bullish, and I think there's a 45% chance because Donald Trump's ego is too big to say, I respect the Supreme Court. I think there's a greater chance that he's going to bag on the Supreme Court and then say, I'll let you know what I decide in the future. That scenario is not ideal because it's a way of Donald Trump saying, we're going to figure out how to bring tariffs back. And it'll keep people on the lookout. It'll keep people on edge. It won't be cleanly bullish. But I think there's a chance that tariffs just fade into the background. We focus on Iran and we just don't get another Liberation Day. That would be best case scenario. That it does, well, I mean, best case scenario is he just folds right away. 25% chance. Next best case scenario is he just lets them fade into the background. Worst case scenario is we impose Section 122 temporary authority to tariff other countries up to 15%. That's going to lead stocks down, bond yields up, Fed rate cuts canceled. Worst case scenario for our economy. How do we reconcile this with GDP that came in half as good as expectations this morning? Came in at 1.4% versus 2.8% expected. Core PCE inflation, personal consumption expenditure inflation, Fed's preferred inflation gauge, came in higher than expected. Not good. Inflation bad. Keeps the Fed tighter on rates while at the same time GDP is coming in lower than expected. Wow. What does that sound like? Stagflation is bad. Okay. That could mean gold up though. We get stagflation fears, gold goes up, baby. So worst case scenario again, Trump comes out and says, we're immediately imposing Section 122 temporary authority, 15% tariffs. Stocks down bad. Okay, that's a Liberation Day scenario. Then he's going to go, we are also applying for a 150-day application process for Section 232 and 301 tariffs via the Commerce Department.
OpenAI is rumored to be working on a new $20,000 a month AI employee. And you know what? That's not even the most interesting part of the story. The real story here is that across Anthropic, across OpenAI, across other AI native organizations, the new unit of work is turning into the token. And that is changing the job of engineering so fast, it's making current engineering work almost unrecognizable. There are now 3 kinds of developers in 2026, and I'll go through all 3. One of these kinds is about to get very, very rich. One of them is about to become obsolete. And the third kind of developer doesn't even know they're a developer yet. And this all sounds like clickbait, right? I get very hypey. It's not. It's what happens when computing is changing form. not incrementally, but categorically, fundamentally, in a way we haven't seen in 50 years or 60. For 60 years, the unit of work in software was the instruction. It was deterministic. A human writes code, a machine executes code, and the value was denominated in how cleverly the human could sequence those instructions. The developer's entire job was just translation. Please turn this business logic into machine logic, one function at a time, one JIRA ticket at a time. That era is done. The unit of work is now the token. A token is not an instruction. It's a unit of purchased intelligence. You don't tell the machine what to do step by step anymore. You describe what you want, you feed it context, and you buy enough intelligence to get a result. We call it inference. The machine figures out all the workflow steps on its own. The human's job is abstracting, right? It's shifting up from writing the logic to specifying the outcome and managing the intelligence budget. The human's job is shifting up. It's abstracting from writing the logic to specifying the outcome and managing the intelligence budget that produces that outcome. That is not a tools upgrade. That is not a software upgrade. It is a change in what computing is. And once you see it that way, you can't unsee it. Once you follow the second order effects on careers, on companies, on entire markets, the three kinds of developers I talked about, that stops sounding like clickbait. That just sounds like a map to where we're going. I am not just talking about OpenAI. I know I opened by saying they're working on a $20,000 a month employee. If that was the whole story, it wouldn't be a story. The numbers are arriving from all over the computing map. In early February of 2026, StrongDM CTO Justin McCarthy disclosed that his 3-person team targets $1,000 a day in token spend. No handwritten code. You get a similar story in October 2025 when journalist Ed Zitron reported that Cursor, Anthropic's single largest customer, saw its AWS costs spike from $6 million to over 12 between May and June of 2025, a spike that coincided with Anthropic's launch of priority service tiers, which is a new pricing regime. In the same reporting, Zitron disclosed that Anthropic itself had spent $2.66 billion on AWS through September 2025 against an estimated 2.5, smaller number, billion in cumulative revenue over the same period. In that same reporting, Zitron disclosed that Anthropic itself had spent $2.66 billion on Amazon Web Services through September 2025 against an estimated $2.55 billion in cumulative revenue over that same period in the fall of 2025. In other words, more than 100% of the top line revenue for Anthropic went straight to AWS alone before even accounting for Anthropic's Google Cloud spend. Zitron was a busy guy because he separately reported that Perplexity spent well over 100%, 164% of its entire 2024 revenue across AWS, Anthropic, and OpenAI combined. Are you getting the idea? These numbers are anchoring us in a new way of computing. These companies are not setting out to aggressively find a more expensive way to do things. They're operating a fundamentally different paradigm. Intelligence is now a purchasable input, a commodity. It has a price curve. It has a consumption curve. And there are a set of second order effects that reshape how organizations operate when software is a function of intelligence. And the reason this is worth it is because the companies I am talking about, OpenAI, Anthropic, Cursor, are among the fastest growing companies in the world today. These companies may be spending more than their top line right now, but they are betting that they can grow their top line so quick